That's the case.
That's what my dog said.
Welcome to Smoke and Barrel. We are here live on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Smoke and Barrel Cigar Bar and Lounge. We're live on Facebook, and we're live on T Crocker, the Cigar Extraordinaire's Instagram page. So we have special guests today. This is we're going to dedicate this show as much as possible to Veterans Day and recognizing our veterans. So we've got some fun to come up. So with me, we have the goddess of cigars, Carolee Martin. We have T Crocker, the cigar extraordinaire. And then we have Stephen and Beatrice Waldron. There you go. Sarge and B. How's that?
There you go.
Be a little better. There was Cigars for Warriors. So we're going to talk about that today. We want to learn a lot about Cigar for Warriors, how that works, what the program's about, where you guys are, how people can help. And I think that's tremendous. So to kick us off, we are smoking something you can't get.
Imagine that.
I know.
Can't get it.
again.
Not available. But it was appropriate for today. So
That's
Carolee,
right.
what are we smoking? And
So,
thank you, Carolee,
you're very
for your
welcome.
service.
So-
Thank you, Sarge, for your service.
Thank her for
Thank
her
you
service.
for your service.
Thank you.
There we go.
See, got it all covered. So, and for Veterans Day, I had to rummage through the humidor, and after finding several small missing children, I did find a box of the CO America Honor. I haven't seen this come out in at least 5 years. So this is between, no archaeologist or anything, but I'm going to say that carbon dating between 5 and 7 years old.
Okay.
All right. So it is a medium body. The one we're smoking is the Toro, made in Honduras, and it's got a Ecuadorian shade in Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it's kind of almost chocolatey spicy on that first light up, but it definitely, because I think the age on it when it opened up the cello, the smell, definitely got that hay and the goody smells.
Yeah, but the cigar itself just, guys, is incredible.
Delightful.
Oh my gosh.
Delightful.
Well, of course you can't have it.
Yeah.
This is it, the one and only.
Yeah.
We
And
might-
all the proceeds to it is donated, a portion of the proceeds are donated to Operation Surf, and it's devoted to helping wounded heroes cope with physical injuries and PTSD.
Wonderful.
They only make a run of these when they have produced 2,500 boxes. That's it. So this is pretty special.
Well, thank you. This is awesome.
But do you think they'll do it again?
For UT, probably. I'll have my people get with my people and get with your people and
I'm just saying it would be nice.
lots of people.
It's been said.
Once they find out you're the cigar pimp, it's over.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I tried my best.
It's all over. So today we're drinking Woodford Reserve. It's a staple. It's like Knob Creek. It's like everybody has to have Woodford and Knob Creek in your collection because it's just a go-to. It's fantastic. We went to the distillery last year in Versailles, Kentucky, and as they say in Kentucky, Versailles. So Versailles, and we had a great visit. It was just coming out of COVID, so we really didn't get a lot of opportunity to go to the tasting room. But a beautiful place. It's a beautiful distillery. So the mash bill for the Woodford Reserve is 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. So you're going to get I guess the sweetness of the corn is really going to come out. It's going to be balanced a little bit with the rye. It's going to be a hair spicy, but for real, you're going to get so many different flavors into Woodford. It's fantastic. And I would tell you that it's 90.4 proof. So we picked this, with Carolee in mind, make sure she can feel our legs.
I'm very sensitive. When it's high octane, I have pretty dramatic results.
It's
still on training
astonishing.
She's still on training wheels.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing that you hear all the time, and you know this, going to distilleries, everybody invented bourbon. It's like everybody was the beginning of bourbon. Well, Woodford Distillery is a national landmark, and it started in 1812.
Oh, Jesus.
1812. So I'm going to
So
give
it's a
them
new place.
right. Yeah, relatively.
Still working out their blends, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is what we deal with every week.
So,
Every week.
so this is you guys. If you haven't had Woodford Reserve, get it. We sell a lot of it here at the bar. Everybody loves it. Goes pairs well with about every cigar
They
that
make great old fashioned.
you really want to
Smoke old fashioned.
smoke with it. So enjoy it. All right, our guests. Introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about who you are and
The
tell
good
us about
stuff you
Cigar
do.
for
The
Warriors.
good stuff I do.
Good stuff.
I
We'll
do.
let you tell them.
I do a lot of good stuff. Okay, but first I want to say
She
thank
married
you.
me.
That's charity. That's different.
She's really made up for a lot in the last 30 years.
I do a lot of charity. Yes, yes. But first, I want to start off by saying thank you for inviting us to come. We definitely like to get the word out that Cigars for Warriors is a nonprofit, and we've actually had the privilege of being able to send an excess of 1.1 million cigars to troops wherever they're serving.
Wow.
So that,
impressive.
yes,
No small feat.
Right.
no. It's, although we're a nonprofit, we are all volunteers, and it requires a lot of work, and we are always looking for volunteers. So if anyone's out there, definitely, if you're interested, you could look us up on Cigars for Warriors, and or you could contact me directly or any of these people here on this panel, and we could definitely give you some information on how you could get in touch with us and what the process is to becoming a volunteer, as well as the process of how to help a cigar lounge become a donation center.
Okay.
Very cool.
So-
Well, and I think right now especially, it's I think people have kind of forgotten that we still have people deployed.
Yeah.
We still have people that are out pounding foreign soil. You know, with everything that's happening in the news every day, it's getting to be less and less focused on the contributions that our soldiers have done.
Yeah, like I said, we're definitely a charity, so we rely on donations. 100% of our donations go back into the troops. We're all, like I said, volunteers. No one earns a salary, so there is different ways that you could donate to Cigars for Warriors. Of course, anything premium cigar will definitely take. You know, lighters, cutters, that sorts of stuff. And of course, you know, there's some things we've gotten donated that we just cannot send overseas or where we're at. That's a whole different charity, a different department. However, we will not turn away anything basically, but you know, we just have to be careful basically of what we send out. But anything that anyone could help with, it's definitely something we will accept.
So I'm sitting out here, I'm watching this, right? And I'm thinking, hey, I really want to help out. I love smoking cigars, or even if I don't, you know, they can look on the website. There are locations that are participating on the website, and it's across the United States. We're not just talking
No, it's all
here, it's all over.
yeah.
No, it definitely is. It's all over. We are on every social media platform. You could definitely look us up. You could find us, basically. And hopefully with doing this today and getting the word out, we could definitely get a lot more people involved, and also let people know that this actually exists. I mean, there are a lot of veterans that come up and approach us when we're having events, and it's very, very good to hear and fulfilling. Sometimes we feel like it's a thankless job, you know, that we do, but we get veterans. It's like, hey, you know, when I was such and such, or I was here and I was, you know, there, we actually got Cigars for Warriors. I mean, it really made us feel special. It made us feel that there were other people that were thinking about us.
Yeah, you're not forgotten.
that they're not forgotten. The great thing too about Cigars for Wars, I think, and we're trying to spread the word, is a feature that we have online is that every month they feature a cigar lounge. So it's not just your regular website that somebody just put together. It's actually pretty
Interactive?
yes, pretty
Very
interactive.
cool.
So there's definitely a lot of information. I could sit here and talk pretty much the whole time, but I know I'm getting looks, so I'll let someone else go ahead and keep talking about what else they'd like to share about Cigars for
we love
Wars.
hearing all the information you can provide because. So let me say how it works. So I come in. I'm at a place that participates in Cigar for Warriors. I say, hey, I want to donate cigars. They come into the cigar lounge and they buy cigars and they put them in a specified area, maybe a dedicated humidor, and then you come by and you pick them up periodically when there's enough. You pick them up and then you send them off to a designated spot. So is that something that is random? Is it go to Germany and then they disperse it out? How do you determine where the cigars go?
It goes to Florida first.
Okay.
We have a collection center in Florida and one in Pennsylvania, and we basically will ship. I prefer shipping to Peter in Pennsylvania. I know him real well. We'll ship them to him. He'll do a post of who donated them, where they come from, and then I think it's on Tuesdays. He has a crew that actually gets together in his garage, and they pack boxes. And in order to receive them, you got to go online, and there's a form you fill out. It's at cigarsforwarriors.org, and it's usually the company commander, the first sergeant, to fill out a form, and he'll request. Say he's got 15 soldiers or 50 soldiers that smoke cigars, and they'll request them. And we try to send a minimum of 6 per soldier every time they go out.
Very
Okay.
cool.
And they'll go straight to war. And they have to be deployed. We don't send to regular bases. They have to be deployed into a war zone or on an active deployment on a ship. So they'll send them out that way. And Peter and his crew boxes up. I think they boxed 700 boxes last week.
Wow.
And they basically, the mail truck comes to only pick up at his house that day. They send a truck just to pick them up because they ship so many.
Wow.
And I think it's what's the name in Florida? In college.
Storm?
No, Storm's in Texas.
He's in Texas.
Yeah, but there's a guy two guys in Florida that does them also. So we have two. Normally, if you go online, it's going to have you ship it to Florida,
Gotcha.
and then they'll box, and then they ship them. We've recently started taking video games, believe it or not, because that's one thing that all the soldiers started requesting was to have video games. We do coffee, video games, so it's not just cigars, but it's mostly cigars. But we actually do a lot of coffee. We've started with video games now. The people donate their used video games and they ship them out. So
Any
That's
particular like Xbox?
no, Xbox, PlayStation,
Whatever.
anything that you can play it on. So yeah, so that's pretty interesting. We started that. So
That is cool. So so in deployment, going overseas somewhere in deployment.
yeah, they have to be deployed.
So, interesting. We have the conflict in the Ukraine
Yeah.
going on right now, but we have more, as I understand it, deployments around the area
Yeah.
with NATO especially. So there's been some deployment there. There's some activity in Korea right now, South Korea, that's going on. So, so obviously we have a lot, as you were saying.
There's a lot going
There's
on.
a lot going on where we
Yeah.
may not see it on the news every day, but we're able to sleep at night because of their sacrifice, and they're there, and we can get up and we can smoke at a cigar lounge, and you're not worried about your freedom right now.
Yeah.
They're out there doing it every day.
Yeah. Well, what's the saying? If we're doing it right, you don't see it on the news.
That's right.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
I do want to add is that currently we are not able to ship. I believe it's to Qatar and Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Yeah. As far as I know, those are the two places that unfortunately we cannot ship.
They don't
cigars.
allow smoking. Is that what it is? Maybe from a religious standpoint, or
I don't really know.
might not.
Basically, all the details around
Yeah,
that.
they
I just
told us
know
we can't ship
is,
there.
we cannot send care packages there.
Okay. Oh, what was it again?
I lived in Qatar
already contract over there for 10 years. But yeah, they have very strict laws in Qatar as far as smoking.
So they're very strict.
Or import smoking, so if you buy your cigarettes at duty free, they're on base and on post and everything. You have to, they don't allow.
So
You
we're
can't, like you were saying,
Right.
you get all those cigars and stuff, which was great for everybody over there. Like I said, I lived over there until 2019, 2017, 2019.
So thank you for your service. So we had somebody actually here in the bar right now who had served in Qatar and told us that, yeah, it's pretty strict on smoking over there and what's allowed. So he was there for, sound like 12 years.
As a contract, I retired from the military.
So retired from the military, was a contractor for the United States government over there. So he appreciated the cigars when he could get them, I'm sure. You'd have to smuggle them across the lines.
Trade shows over there from all the different places. The USO, at the USO, you go over there, soldiers would come over there. That's where everybody traded their cigars.
Okay, so the USO would come and then you'd go trade cigars. Oh, cool. Neat.
Appreciate it. Let me put it there.
So much appreciated. That's straight from somebody who's benefited from these gifts. So it's great.
Yeah, because our son just recently come back from a 10-month deployment in Saudi Arabia, and we had show him how to do it also. And then we've got a friend, she's been over, and she just got back yesterday, hit stateside from Guantanamo Bay. She's been over there for 10 months as a military police, which is basically a prison guard.
Right.
So that's all they do while they're there. So.
I just want to add, just go in a little more detail. I don't know if Steve shared this or not, but if you are wanting to request cigars, you definitely go to cigarsforwarriors.org. And it'll take you to the link and then the tab, and then you could just scroll down and it'll take you to the cigar request process.
Cool.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, great. So you got cigars when you were deployed, and that led you
To the career, yeah.
to the career. So talk a little bit about that.
This was prior to Cigars for Warriors, so I had to do it the hard way. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks to get on the ball.
The URL is on the screen. Or the website.
Oh, the
Okay.
website for cigarsforwarriors.org is on the screen now. So
Okay.
we'll leave it up there for a while, so make sure you got it.
So I was from Phoenix at the time, and I was buying from my home shop. And I started, like most things, when you light up a cigar, all of a sudden you have lots and lots of friends.
Yes.
Yes. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, you become real popular.
Very.
Yes, absolutely.
So I started buying in bulk, and I asked the cigar shop that I was buying from, hey, can I get like a bulk rate? Because I'm buying, and this is who I'm buying it for. Well, they didn't. They just started sending me free boxes. And then they reached out to other cigar shops. And Phoenix is one of those areas that is almost as saturated in cigar lounges as Atlanta. I mean, there's like 68 lounges, and that's not counting cigar shops.
Wow.
So, I mean, when I worked that area, I could park at one store and go to 3 in the summertime and not break a sweat. So, they're close. And through their generosity, my unit, my friends' units, started a chapter of the Taliban Cigar Club because it was a way for us to distribute to other units. And because it's really sometimes the generosity exceeded our capacity to be able to distribute. And that's why I think what you guys are doing is so valuable, because it's one thing for a person to go, hey, I want to help. Then it's this whole barrier of like, where do I even start? I don't know anybody on the receiving end. I don't know how to get it there. I don't know the duty and
Right.
customs rules. So it's
Sound
great that
effects.
they have that.
Yeah, and you think about, and you go back to the feeling we had after 9/11, right, and how everybody felt, and you would be willing to do anything to help somebody, whether it's in people that were affected by the plane crashes, or people who are being deployed, right, and that feeling of I just want to help, I just want to do something because I feel helpless. I'm sitting here, I can't do anything. I'm not in the military. But what can I do? What can I give? We need to have that same fire in our belly now, because we're still out there protecting our citizens and really the world. I mean, we are the world leader right now, and no, everybody's looking to the United States to help them. I don't, and Ukraine is unique where there's a multitude of NATO nations that are coming together to provide military equipment and support, but really it's the United States that's looked at as helping the world. And we have people deployed all over the world, whether it's Africa, Europe, Asia, you name it, they're there. So it's not just when it's in the news. It's not just when there's a catastrophe. All we hear about is sensationalism in the news. We don't hear what's going on every day. And so we have to find a way to help. One thing that strikes me, because you brought it up, they were shipping it to you free. How do you who pays for the shipping when you send it?
We do. It's we take monetary donations, being that we can't ship free because it's against federal law. Used to they could. We've kind of got our own flat rate box, somewhere between $15 flat rate for us to ship it. So the monetary donations we take, that's what it does. It covers all our shipping. And like I said, I think last week they shipped 700 boxes from one location. So you multiply that by 15, you
Adds
get a lot
up
of money.
fast.
So
Adds up fast.
So that's $10,500.
And that's at one time. So
Look at you doing
it's
fancy
really,
math. I'm so
Well,
proud of you.
my lips were moving and my toes were going, but yeah.
So yeah, it's all done through flat rate, priority mail, and everything ships overseas to an APO or an FPO address anyway. So it's actually cheaper than it would be if we were sending packages
International. Yeah, it's
because
not
we do
considered.
get it does go to an FPO or
So
an
when
APO
you say
address.
we, you're talking about
Cigars
you.
for Warriors.
All right, right. So I just want to be sure
Yeah.
people are.
Cigars
No.
for Warriors.
You're part of Cigars for
Yeah,
Warriors. It's
so-
not you guys.
No.
Yeah.
Cigars
It's
for
the-
Warriors.
yeah.
So I'm sitting here. I'm out there, and I want to give because I don't know anything about cigars. I don't know what a premium cigar is. I don't even go to a shop.
Right.
But I want to give, and I'm sitting here going, how do I do that? We put the URL up there. You can donate.
Yeah.
Hey, if you just donated $15, you just mailed
Yeah, a
cigars.
Right.
Right, a box. I mean, you think about that, $15, you spend that on lunch.
Yeah.
So
And-
you're
and-
making a difference when you do this.
And there are also Cigars for Warriors also has merchandise that you could order online that'll help with the shipping costs. And I don't know exactly or even come close to guessing how many cigar lounges there are in the U.S. But I know that we have over 540 plus cigar lounges that are donation centers for Cigars for Warriors. But definitely you could go to the website. It gives you different options of how you want to donate. If you don't have to donate a lot of money, even if you donate 1 or 2 cigars. I mean,
Right.
that's 1 and 2 cigars.
Right.
That
It adds up, though.
Yes,
Absolutely. It
adds
means
up.
something.
One person spends $20, you've got 2 cigars that are going to go, right?
Yeah,
So-
and those donations that we receive when we do have we do events and we collect the money, like I said, it helps with the shipping costs. And like you added with your toes earlier, I mean, that adds up.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the cost of shipping really does add
Well, I
up.
imagine, that's your most significant cost.
Yeah, ship.
I mean, when you're thinking about nonprofits, you got volunteers boxing them up, you got volunteers doing this. Other than gas, maybe if they're reimbursing people for gas, I mean, the expense is the shipping. You don't have payroll expense, you don't have inventory expense, you got shipping expense, and those are the top expenses for any company, right? So, yeah, absolutely. Well, we got to pass the Woodford down here.
Yep.
We got to
have
fill
one
back
thing
up.
going on Friday with Casa de Monte Cristo. I think there's 12 of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they're offering. Last year they offered a 5-pack. I think this year it's a 4-pack of cigars for $11, and it's like $44 worth of cigars. But the key to it is you donate, you pay the $11, and the cigars get donated automatically. You can't go in and buy them for $11.
Yeah.
But you can buy them for $11 and just throw them in a basket at any of them. Last year, just at one of them, we took in 196 packs at one location. So
That's great.
when you add that up, that's times 5. So that's going to cover roughly 180 some soldiers that
Yeah.
are deployed. So
That's great. I'm glad they're doing that. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And we have corporate partners And one of them is Drew Estates. We have Harlem and Solomon. So you guys correct me if I've
Butcher the name.
yes mispronounced the name. We have what is it, Jonathan's Coffee? And
Yeah, he's a local guy from, I think, Colorado. And he started with the Tabac, and he made a Tabac coffee, and he got really involved with Cigars for Warriors. So
Yeah.
now he roasts it, and he sends. I don't
Now,
know
where
how
is he
much.
at in Colorado? Just
I'm not
curious.
sure where his actual he's roasting at, because he's just moved into a bigger shop because he grew.
Right.
He does all of the events like
Pete,
Smoking
can you
in the
pass that?
Carolinas and the barn smokers, and he hands out samples of his coffee, and then he'll donate so much every time he's there for to send the Cigars for Warriors.
Y'all work with Black Rifle?
No, they don't do anything with us yet because they're kind of set up on their own. But what they do, they got their own donations the way they do it. Because they're a little
So
bit
the
different.
question was
they're
Black
all
Rifle,
veteran though.
just
They're
in
all
case you
they
didn't
are a
hear.
veteran-owned company.
Yeah.
So what was the name of the coffee again?
Tabac.
Tabac
It's-
coffee.
Yeah, it's what's he call his?
Jan is JANUS
It's
Coffee.
Jan US Coffee, but he makes a Tabac coffee. That's how.
Yeah.
He does all the Drew Estates barn smokers.
Well, and it's funny. So, from a perspective of corporate sponsors and stuff like that, it's absolutely brilliant
Right.
because we know there is no group of people that is more loyal than soldiers
Yeah.
when it comes to anybody that's ever shown them half a measure of
Yeah.
gratitude or kindness. It's
Right.
never forgotten.
Absolutely.
You know, even to this day, I know Drew Estates and some other companies were heavy donators
Yeah.
prior to, and
Yeah.
a lot of my friends that was their first cigar experience, and to this day, that will always be their
Yeah,
company.
Right.
Jonathan is kind of from Drew Estates. He's really one that I ain't gonna say he started Cigars for Warriors, but him and Storm come up with an idea because, like you said, they were sending thousands of cigars
Uh-huh.
a month, and then the FDA said stop. You can no longer do it free. And so Jonathan's
to change
like, we got to
the
figure out
way
a way
to
we
do
can
it.
do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's really how Cigars for Warriors, and this is our 10th anniversary year, so him and Storm really come up with a way to do it.
Storm is the hoot.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, let's get this done. You know, since they don't let us do it free.
And it's
per
funny, like
company.
if
It's
you
like
looked
General
at,
Cigars couldn't say, okay, we're going to send 10,000 cigars to soldiers. They
you
won't
know,
allow it.
if you ever met Jonathan Drew,
Yeah.
it would be like the last person on earth that you would think would be supporting the military.
And-
Like, you know,
Why is that?
book and cover. He looks like he's $5 from being homeless
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, all but his glasses.
in the nicest way possible.
All but his glasses. But like, they just did the barn smoker in Kentucky and took in, I think it was $17,000 cash and about, I think, 4,000 cigars.
Wow.
And he just threw him a $5,000 check before he walked off the stage out of his own money. And he does that at every barn smoker. Last year, when the pandemic hit, year before, and we couldn't get donations, he wrote us a check out of his personal account for $50,000.
Wow.
He just gave it to us. He said, since I can't do the barn smokers, I want to give you this.
I would love to pick his brain and know what is his motivation for that.
Yeah, because, he's non-military.
Yep.
I don't think his father was military.
I don't think so.
He's just got a big heart for the soldiers.
And usually there's a story associated
story
with that
in there
because
somewhere
the
behind it.
amount of give he puts
Yeah.
forth is.
Well, you know, he started in a kiosk in the Empire State Building and
What?
grew from there. Yeah, that's how he started. And that's how he grew.
yeah,
That's crazy.
And
that is.
it's another thing people don't know about him. He's an actual lawyer.
Really.
He went to law school and passed the bar.
Well, I gotta
And then-
say that makes more sense because
Yeah,
you know
and then
I
he
know a
moved to
lot of
Nicaragua.
shiftless hobos that are attorneys. So
And then he moved to Nicaragua. True Estates was born, I guess.
That is hilarious.
I don't want to leave any of the sponsors out, but if I do, please forgive me. But I just want to add that we do have Cigars International. We have Caldwell Cigar Company, Bovat,
Bovita.
and Avanti Cigar Company, and of course the PCA. And my mind is moving quicker than my fingers here. And there's plenty more. And like I said, I do apologize for not being able to give a shout out to everyone, but everyone pretty much in the cigar industry knows of Cigars for Warriors, and they participate some way, directly or indirectly, to help this cause.
And it's cool because I think as a group or a community, cigar smokers I think we lend ourselves to that kind of patriotism and core values of we want to support the people that support us. And, and we've said it more times than not, if I got 5 cigars and I've got 6 people around me that have never had that cigar, I guarantee I'm not going to have one of those cigars because I want them to love it the way I do.
You was talking about Arizona. Arizona, other than Texas, is probably one of the biggest donation states they are. I mean, they just Fox Cigar Bar, and they do these big, huge events, and it's nothing but for Cigars for Warriors.
Their
They do the
cigar
one in
lounge
Texas
in
called Cats.
Scottsdale.
Yeah,
Woo!
Scottsdale is
That's
huge.
gorgeous.
They're a huge supporter.
I feel like I got to comb my hair when I go into that lounge. It's pretty classy.
Nice.
It's
Super
huge.
classy. Yeah.
She just puts her hair up when she comes here.
You mean to tell me?
Combing's for company.
Never mind my question.
Did
That's
that
what I was
answer
gonna
your
ask.
question? She
So-
answered it for you.
Yeah.
So I did want to let everybody know I failed to do this at the beginning, but Charlie's not here. Charles Wilkerson, Whiskey Tango Charlie. He is at Penske Racing. Joey Logano won the NASCAR championship this year. So he's up there with Troy, and they're working with those guys.
Working
They're-
with small quotations.
They're tasting
Yes.
bourbon right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
Cheating
working
on us
hard.
again.
Well,
Him and Curly the only two that they feel like they can just cheat on us whenever they want to.
hey, I got to make you work for it.
You know?
You can't,
Troy was a
can't
pretty
just give
big
it up
deal.
easy.
Troy's a pretty big deal in racing. So for Penske, he did a lot with them, and
Bald head.
yeah, he lost all his hair working on cars, I guess. But great guys. Hey, we missed them today, but I'm glad you guys are here. It's gonna be
I'm dealing with soldiers.
we got Friday is Veterans Day, so all the banks are gonna be closed. Everything's gonna be closed on a Friday because normally you think about it a Monday.
But I'm
Yeah.
gonna need my check.
You don't get checks till Monday.
I need a loan.
No, like our checks are being deposited tomorrow, so you'll probably have them tomorrow. So
I need a loan.
She's speaking very clearly into the mic. So
See, so I'm kind of confused. What were you going to try to say with that? I mean, you're kind of
need a loan.
mincing words.
Oh, she was.
That's why I always say about T. She's very mincy.
She minces her words. Can't ever tell.
Let me read that bottle down there.
All right.
He needs to hold it.
Yeah, I need to see what it says.
Yeah.
It is a very pleasant
It gets. You can
ergonomics
eat it.
to the
Yeah.
bottle.
You can drink it and read it better the less is
That's
in
how
it.
he reads.
That's
All right,
how I
So-
read.
I'm past that Connecticut, and I'm into the broadleaf
Yeah, I
now.
am too.
Yeah.
It switched gears, didn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
it did.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's
It's
got
a
that
good cigar.
sweetness.
I
It's
am
really
s-
popping now.
Too
I am
bad
such
we can't
a
buy 'em.
fan.
I
I'm
know.
such a fan of the Connecticut broadleaf.
He needs to come back out.
I have really grown to love that on my cigars. It's just there's just something
There's
There's a
about
richness to it.
it is.
And when
It's,
people
it's
see
not
it for
just
some reason,
pepper.
the first thing they think is it's a mild cigar. They're not. Most Connecticut broadleafs are always going to be a medium-bodied cigar, and
Yeah.
it don't matter what company they come from.
True.
Yes.
And
But
and
this
they-
kicked into gear right here. I mean, really, this is kicking into gear for me.
That's Nick's from Foundation. That's his. That's where he's from,
his go,
Connecticut.
yeah,
so
his go-to.
his go-to is a Connecticut broadleaf.
This
I
is a
love it.
really pretty
They love
cigar.
it.
Like it's really toothy,
You learning me something today.
and the different color wrapper.
Oh yeah.
It's really quite
Yeah.
handsome.
I know it. Was it H. Upman? They do a Connecticut broadleaf, but they have to put a Maduro
Cap on
cap
it.
on it because the Connecticut is so thin that they said it wouldn't hold.
Well, that's a lot of the
Yeah.
Connecticut's.
So
They struggle
get-
with a
yeah,
delicate
being so
wrapper.
thin, yep.
You
And-
see that wrap? I mean,
Yeah.
the end of that, the cap.
Yeah, the cap of it. This is Connecticut broadleaf.
Well, God bless the Connecticut broadleaf. That's all I can say. We were going to smoke the America today, but I walk in and we
He
sold
did
out.
the old bait and switch.
Yeah, we sold
He's like,
out.
"Well, I got that," and then a few minutes later,
I said,
"No,
"T,
I don't
I don't
have that."
have those.
T, when we gonna order some more Americas? So, we love. I mean, CAO makes such a great just line of cigars that
So
it is such a consistent seller. You know, you bring in some and you'll get a spike. You know, people want to try it. They want to try the new cigar or whatever's in. But then you go back to the ones that just down the line, consistent sellers. You always know you're going to sell them and you're going to be reordering every time.
I'm a flathead fan, so. the
We got
660
plenty of
flatheads.
flatheads,
I like the
660s. We got them in there. Come get them.
Yeah.
so
I'm
I'ma
rolling
tell
as
y'all-
fast as I can.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell y'all something y'all don't know about Bryan. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I have certain days where I do certain things.
She's a union.
Between 1 and 1:15.
Right. Between 2 or 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, there are certain things I do on Mondays, and that is order cigars. See, you just asked me when I was going to order something else.
Monday.
Right.
No, we sitting there last night. We sitting there
It
last
wasn't
night.
Monday though, was it?
Right.
It was
No,
Tuesday.
go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
So we having a conversation last night, because Brian will text me, which I don't mind, because sometimes I need that at work, dealing with crazy people. So Brian texts me, "Hey, can we meet today?" Sure, not a problem. This will get me out of my zone from about to choke somebody the hell out in this airport.
She's our cuddly bear.
I look forward to meeting him, because I know we got some interesting stuff to talk about. So we sitting there last night, we talking. We said, "Hey, did you find that Arturo Fuente?" I was like, "Well, let's look it up, Brian." So I pull out the laptop, we looking it up. So we talking to some other members of the lounge, and hey, what do you think about this one? Hey, what do you think about this one? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I will get that. I said, okay. So me, I have a certain way I do things. He's never had a problem with it before. So I'm making a list on my phone. He looks at me and goes, "Why don't we order them now?"
Now, why are you typing them in your phone?
And not
She
typing on
goes,
the order, right?
So she goes, so I can order them on Monday.
It's Tuesday.
I said, if we order them now, we'll have them by Friday. Why,
So we
why aren't we ordering them now?
I see his point.
Right? That's how it went.
This is what he says to me. And I go, "I order cigars on Monday." He says, "We sell cigars every day." It's okay.
I also
Smart ass.
asked you what?
What?
Whose credit card
Yeah.
is it?
That line right there. That line. See, we should have biologically been brother and sister, because there's a fight every week.
Every week.
Every week there's a fight.
It ain't no fight.
And then, don't let us get something new, and he's never had it, and he beats me to the lounge. He will take a picture and go,
What
and
is
sends
this?
me and says, "I'm smoking this. Can you let me get him in the system first, sir? Please."
Go back.
But
Go
hey,
back to
hey,
rule number one.
And this
his
is what he
credit card.
says.
Credit
Whose credit card is
His
it?
credit card.
It's his credit
And it's
card.
going up.
Yeah, he get
Like,
it.
If
He's
I'm
got
buying
all.
it, I'm smoking it.
That's right. It's his credit card.
and see, sometimes,
And he don't want to sell anything that he hasn't sampled himself.
but this is the thing.
Which I think is a reasonable thing.
It's reasonable.
But yeah,
Yeah.
still, see, sometimes I like it when Mama Huff's here, and then other times I don't like it when she's here, because there is something I need to say. Yes, ma'am.
Mama Huff says she's here to keep her straight.
She
So I'm
knows
just
the
telling you what
voice in
she
your head
said.
that says, "Oh no, you better not say that."
Right, that part.
Be like that.
Right. I can't say what
So
I
I go,
say.
I said, what? I don't understand. Are you, what is this, a union we got now? You can only do something on certain
On
days?
certain days.
We need to order now. Like, I'm having to say especials. All right, well, let's spell that. And, I'm going, no, you don't have to do that. You just put it in the box, in the cart, and pay for it, and it's done.
And it's here.
What?
Eat this
I
broken
do. Now, I will
ass
tell you,
ham.
what she was looking for was the Rosado Reserve, Arturo Fuente. Excellent cigar. Really good cigar. I love it. So, that's what we were looking for. We still haven't been able to get it because, Arturo Fuente's not opening new accounts, has not opened a new account in 3 years. So you got J.C. Newman who reps them, right?
Yeah.
And I asked the guy every month just to stay in there. He says, "You're number 2 on the list." I said, "No, I am always number 1. You just remember that." So he's tired of hearing about me because I know he's tired of saying no.
They have unique tiers with Fuente. Their tiers to gain their top tier is pretty interesting, and that gets you to the Opus X's basically. And Bowling Springs, of course, Cardiff he's at their top tier because he'll buy anything to get to it. And so he's learned that he had to start, and he used to have a problem getting them. So then he just started ordering. So he's like, well, I'm gonna order all these till I can get to that next one. And he's actually got to where he's at that level. But he's got one guy that he may buy $3,000 worth of Fuentes a month, and it's all Opus X's.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He owns a power company, and he oversees like 55 trucks. And he rides around all day, and he smokes Opus X's all day. That's all he smokes. He will not smoke no other cigar.
Life is too short not to smoke what you want to
And
smoke.
that's what he
That's
is.
exactly right.
Somebody asked him why he smoked them. He said, because I can afford it.
Because
Because I can't.
Because I can.
That's what he said, because I can afford
Okay,
it.
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't
What he
mad at
said
I am
was-
not mad at him.
Hey, when you ride around in the $90,000 truck that don't get dirty, you can do about what you want to, I guess.
Every pickup truck today is
Now
$90,000.
if it's got four
That's what I
wheels,
was telling
it's
somebody the other day. I was
$90,000.
telling somebody the other day, you see somebody riding in a $60,000 Mercedes, and they're like,
You're like, psh.
they think that they're up
the
here,
shiznit.
and this guy pulls beside him in a F-350, and it's like 110 grand, and they're looking down on this guy.
They literally are looking down.
they're literally, and he's like, hey,
Yeah, would you've
Well, I
ever
drive a
thought
Honda.
that would be the situation?
exactly.
That is like, no, I grew up driving big old dually trucks and, 454, 4-block, the big blocks. And,
Yeah.
and
It's
nowadays
Charlie.
that would be more than my mortgage.
Yeah.
Shirley,
Yeah. What?
when you turned 16, your parents bought you a Hummer, one of the military style Hummers.
Please. I learned how to drive on a DC-10 crawler.
We're looking at your shoes.
That was how I
I
learned to
drive a
drive.
'64 Ford van with a stick
like it.
on the column.
Did it say free candy on the
And
south
the
side?
reason I learned to drive it, my neighbor was always hungover.
Yeah.
And I worked with him during the summer. I was 14. And it was 6 miles to the gas station. And he couldn't drive because he was always hungover. And he taught me to drive it. And I would literally
That's
drive
hilarious.
him 6 miles on the interstate to get to work every morning. No license, no nothing. I'm 14 years old.
See, I was lucky where I grew up. The farmers exemption.
Farmer tag, yeah.
It didn't matter. I mean,
You
if
did
you
that
could
in
reach
North
if you could reach the pedals, you could drive on the highway.
You can do that in
You
North
know.
Carolina with a farmer's tag.
But I was driving like a Steiger tractor that had 9 wheels and they're all 11 feet tall. It's not like I had to worry about getting hit. Might be a problem for the folks out there not paying attention. But whose road is it? My road.
Especially in that truck.
I still drive that way. Weird. I don't know how I got there.
She really does. She's not
She
lying.
smokes
She does.
cigars. She drinks bourbon. She drinks wine. Same
And I
way.
can J-turn a
And-
fully up-armored F-350.
and eats a
Same
steak.
way. And she
So-
shoots the same way.
You ever seen her eat?
Oh my God.
I have never in my life seen anybody eat like her and be that size. Like,
It's
how
like
do-
feeding time at the zoo, basically.
Hair and boots.
we got our hands in
your
the
There
way.
is
Out of
nothing
the way.
in between.
Just
Last
Harry
weekend we
Hair
got our hands in
and
the way.
boots.
I got a bit off.
Well, the problem was they were eating slow, so I had to reach out and get,
Dude.
because they obviously did not want it.
Listen,
That's right.
there was a full-out brawl at the table almost.
Brawl sounds
Between-
so toxic. This was just friendly. I'm gonna take your food or else.
A brawl normally includes 2 people. T. There was only one winning this.
Right. I was steady losing because every time I went to take a bite, there was 3 more spoons going clink, clink, clink on my plate.
Yeah, so she was surrounded.
Yeah.
That happened to Mama Huff. She's sitting there, and all of a sudden, people had taken food off her plate.
Mama Huff said, I'm not going to eat all this. This is too much.
That was
And
open
then-
invitation.
And that was open invitation because next thing I know, a piece of meat flew to one plate. And I was sitting there going, oh, I want a piece of that. Then I got about that much off
And then
of
it
the chuck, that much.
briefly touched her plate, and then it moved on to the next one.
And
And
we
then-
thought we were going to have potato casserole left.
Aren't you cute? It was amazing. It changed my religion. Just
All right, T,
saying.
finish. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, and then the dessert came, it was worse. There was ice cream and some goodness on my plate that I had a whole scoop of ice cream. By the time I finished eating, I had that much ice cream because there was this spoon,
That was
spoon.
not me because I was still busy stealing people's steaks. have standards.
So what people y'all need
Ice
to
cream
know
don't fill you up.
what this was. Y'all need to do it. You get canned apples, and then you take Pillsbury Doughboy cinnamon rolls. You break them up, you put them down, and then you bake it for 30 minutes on 350. Okay, then you warm up the glaze in the microwave. And you pour it on top of there. Make you slap your mama. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty
Huh?
good.
Apple pie filling. Sorry.
Listen,
Grand cinnamon roll.
I don't know what it was.
Y'all just get it close. You're gonna be
All
good.
I know is it'll get you pregnant. That's how good
No,
it
it'll
is.
make you look like you're pregnant.
That too.
Well, yeah.
Unless you're Carolee.
I mean, you go. So I made it for the mook. I made it for the guys last weekend. We had the guys over, and we had a cigar bourbon of just the guys, right? So Mook comes over, and Gina had put it together, Mama Huff, and I was. That's the only reason I know what to do because I had to warm it up. I didn't do nothing else. So I mess it up. I can grill steaks, but that's it. So Mook looks at me. I said, Mook, I want this out of the house. I do not want anything left because I'll eat it.
And
I
Mook's
can't.
a good friend. He'll jump on a grenade for you.
Mook will take one for the team. So
Love you,
so
Bob.
the Mook said, I'm going into a coma about 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm going to eat all of this. He said, well, he actually said it's going to be orgasmic. So that he had that going for him.
Get him pregnant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my word. It is so good, man. It is so good. But I digress. It's a great cigar. It's
It
a
got
great
sweet.
pairing.
Is
Oh,
that
my
my
gosh.
imagination, or it's gotten really
You
sweet?
smoking yours?
Yeah.
Or yours to go out? Because at least she still got the wrapper on it.
That's okay. She's gonna take it home.
But she always takes the wrappers off.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess it's just habit or it's just, I just like it better that way.
We literally used to go to a lounge about three days a week, and we kind of have our own lounge now because we live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to leave. I won't say I got an excessive amount of bourbon, and an excessive
the
amount
right
of,
amount.
and an excessive amount of cigars.
Hey,
and
compared
it's hard to
to-
leave.
Compared to a distillery
Yeah, I ain't got
and a
much.
tobacco farm,
Yeah.
You're-
cigar farm, you don't have much.
I ain't got much.
Right. That part.
That part.
It's
no.
a sliding scale.
So he goes, so he walks in, we're talking. So how's it going? We hadn't seen each other in a while, Yeah, we've been up there. And I said, I said, you still on the bourbon train? Oh, yeah. He said, I got like 400 bottles over there and I just need somebody to help me drink it. I'm like,
I really do.
I just hate that you're so far away. Like, you live an
T
hour,
still
right?
ain't been there. T
Is
still
that an hour?
hasn't been there.
Listen.
About
We've
an
invited
About
her.
an hour, right?
We've invited
Don't-
T up several
Listen.
times,
Don't
and I haven't
count
seen
me
her
out. I got
yet.
a week's worth of vacation in December.
And we will be there.
Long as Miss B is cooking breakfast, I'll be there.
We will
Oh,
be there.
there
I
you
cook
go.
breakfast.
He
Homemade
cooks
French
breakfast.
toast, bacon, sausage, eggs,
Oh, yeah.
omelets.
JJ.
Yeah, we got some stuff planned in December. I'm knocking
JJ.
out a wall in our house.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
are
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah,
his
we'll
dad.
find out soon enough if it's load bearing or not.
JJ's
These
dad
things
right
work
there.
themselves out.
You
We
remind
literally-
me of my roommate in college is either him or his dad. He was in the highway patrol
Oh, okay.
for years and years and years. His dad was, and we met him. And every time you talk, where are you from?
I'm originally from McDowell County. It was kind of strange because I left at 16, joined the Army, spent half my life there, and then moved to Georgia, and then we moved to California, and then we ended up back here. So it's just
See, he's
strange.
from Smithfield,
Okay.
so he. I swear, I could close my eyes and I can see. He passed away. JJ, my roommate, passed away 5 years ago from melanoma.
Okay.
Was it? It's 2 years. Well, whatever. He was 50-ish and had a spot on his foot that got sore. Didn't mess with it. Ain't nothing. I just cut it out with a knife. It's all good.
That sounds about
And
right.
and he
Some
coached
field
football
Yep.
at Smithfield Selma High School and did a lot. And then one day,
Didn't feel good.
stage 4.
That's what we lost our best friend in the cigar business. Well, cigars about a little over a year ago. He just didn't wake up. 42 years old,
Jesus.
and
Really?
probably the biggest cigar guy I've ever met in my life. He had a
Wow.
12 by 16 humidor at his house, 16,000 cigars of his own, 60 boxes of Liga Privadas open on his shelf.
Wow.
Bar.
No
he had
nothing,
a bar.
no.
No, he had been on a diet for about a year and lost over 100 pounds. And I get a call one morning, and his wife was like, "I got to tell you something."
42. He's a baby.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
we still, to this day, we really don't know exactly, you know, what caused it or anything, but he was the biggest cigar guy I ever met in my life.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
a trip.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Well,
amazing.
hey,
That's crazy.
you never know. You're not
Nope.
promised tomorrow.
Hey,
Never
So
know what
live
To right now.
Salute.
That's it.
to now.
That's it.
Here's to the guys overseas. Here's to our
Yes.
veterans. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. Thank you for everything that you do for us every day that allows us to sleep, worship, talk, educate, everything we do in our life. We can never, ever take that for granted.
Right.
And I get worried that we do. I get worried that sometimes in this country we take that for granted. The way we treat certain people and the way that you know we think certain things are more important. And I'm going, I don't understand how you can think that way.
Right.
because it's never been their experience. I mean,
They've
it's
always been safe.
right,
I think we don't realize it until we have to.
right.
And then we really see the Americans show up.
Right.
But like at this time, everything's docile pretty much. So
Well, think about it. There's
everything,
kids
the
that
animosities
were-
amongst each other.
Right, because that's the luxury you have.
That's and it's
Right.
all
There you go.
because of freedom.
Right.
You know?
That's a great
Right.
way to look at it.
Right.
You know, the thing to remember. I mean, we've been at war
Yeah.
for a lifetime,
Yes.
and a lot of those kids after the 9/11,
Yeah.
they don't understand it. So it's
Yeah.
hard to lecture to someone that has no concept of what that feels like or what that even means. I mean,
It
it's all
hasn't been there.
abstract, right?
Yeah.
Like they have nothing to base it on. The worst thing that's ever happened to them is they got a flat tire.
Yeah.
You know, so like I try to temper how I respond to them
Yeah.
because that's not my life. That's not my experience.
Exactly.
You know, they only see it through what they've gone through.
Right.
And I guess,
But they see it through Call of Duty.
gratefully they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's,
But you know what I'm saying? It's make believe.
Yep.
This is not real. They're
There's no
shooting
consequences to making mistakes. There's no consequences to
Right,
having to go
right.
to war. There are no
Our son is,
consequences.
Our son's getting ready to take his first command post. He's a captain who graduated West Point, went through the high road, as I
Wow.
call it. I went the other way. She went the other way. You know, we was both enlisted, but he went through West Point, survived it. Now he's a captain.
That speaks very highly of you too.
And he's like,
It's amazing.
Dad, I see what you was talking about. He said, there's some damn idiots coming in the Army. I mean, and it's because the generation that's coming in now was raised by people that never seen what we seen.
Right.
You
They have
know,
no
never
idea.
been in that situation to where, like this gentleman here, been in Qatar for 12 years. You see it, but the generation in between, they never seen it.
Right.
And these parents are usually roughly now in their 40s, early 40s, and their kids are 18, 19, joining the military.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's dealing with those now that are coming in. He's only 27, but he's like, I know I'm 27 and I'm young. He said, but some of these kids today are just,
Well, I
he said,
mean-
you wouldn't believe the stuff that I have to deal with.
I can
said,
only
"I-"
imagine, like,
I said, I know.
The level of tolerance he must have.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when you're dealing with people that think Kardashians is what the real world's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, I mean, how do you say this the correct way? A lot of the people joining the military is their last option.
Yeah.
It's not their first option. I want to be in the military. I want to serve my country. It's not, a lot of that's not there. It's, I can't get a job, or I didn't do well in school, or whatever. Why don't you join the Army? Why don't you join the Marines? And it's a fallback,
Yeah.
you know, where they weren't raised in an era. We were raised in an era where until, you know, the wall came down in East Berlin,
I
until,
was there that day.
you know,
I was
until
on the wall
those
that
things
day.
happened, we
Yeah.
grew up in the Cold War.
Yeah.
We grew up taking shelter for whatever reason in our schools because they weren't going to help us. But we did all those drills, and none of these, I mean, from the mid 80s to late 80s on,
Yeah.
the worst thing in America that happened was 9/11, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
is,
Right.
and that was awful. It was
Right.
terrible.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at the landscape today, what's going on between China and Taiwan, what North Korea, that idiot is doing right now, and then you've got Russia and Ukraine, and how many are involved in that? I mean, you put it all together, you know, you're
You're at a
on the
precipice.
precipice of a World War III.
Oh yeah.
And all it takes is a moron lunatic in North Korea
To hit a button.
to hit a button, that guy has nuclear weapons. Is that not the scary? And he's got them that can make it to the United States.
Yep.
I mean, we got things that could shoot it down, but the point is that he could do it. That, and you got a guy that's unstable in Russia right now.
Yeah.
He is not well. I mean, it's documented this guy has health problems. It is documented Parkinson's, cancer. This guy is like, when I'm going out, I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do. I'm taking Ukraine back and all these other Soviet Union countries. And think about where we are. And that's so much more important that we support our troops right now, we support our military. We do what we've got to do to be the leader, because we allow ourselves, as you said, to be lulled to sleep. Can't do that. You got to be the strongest.
Absolutely. And just to add to what Steve was saying, our son was 6 when 9/11 happened.
Right.
So it's, like you said, it's been a generation, a lifetime that, these conflicts have been taking place. And I just like to add, I have a different perspective when it comes to, looking and taking in the world around me. I was born in Mexico, and this is my adopted country. This is all I know. America has offered me and my family so much that when, Kuwait, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, I was in college during that time, and it just felt like it was like a calling. It was
Right.
just like, I need to do this. I need to join the military. So here I am, 19-year-old girl that's living in California in college, going home and saying, "Oh, Mom, by the way," well, it was not a good conversation.
But it wasn't.
Wow.
But, we're so grateful. We're so grateful. Our kids have been exposed to so many things, and they have seen the world through different lenses.
What a gift.
Yes.
It's truly been a gift.
So I have, I think because of the experiences that I had growing up in California, that I have been able to provide so much wealth, I would say, in knowledge and different experiences
Right.
than what the majority of other kids have experienced.
Right.
So I think in all, I think, it's kind of like when you have a family, everybody could beat on each other and talk about each other, but then when someone else
Externally everybody took the line.
and regardless of the motives that people have to join the military, I think that is what it boils down to. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it, but we're Americans.
That's right.
Right.
This is what we do, and we're going to protect our home.
Well, and we will all, as Americans, come together when we're needed.
Oh yeah.
As you said
Yeah.
very well, give us a crisis, and we'll forget
We'll
all
become our
the
best version of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
exactly, and we'll
Yeah.
forget about all this, political divisiveness that we have in this country right now. We have more in common than we don't. And the one thing we have in common is we're Americans, as you said. We're going to stick up for each other. Yeah, we can fight with each other, but don't you put your nose in it, because now we're gonna do something back.
It's out. It's out.
So,
Here's the thing, and
last word for today.
I talk a lot of trash about TSA because I can. But the one thing I can say about TSA on the positive side, TSA is a huge supporter of military. So there's an event that happens at TSA every year. It's when the soldiers from Fort Jackson go home for Christmas.
Yeah.
When I tell you, that is the only day that they can say, T, I need you to come in an hour and a half early.
You don't even sweat it.
I don't even sweat it, because I see the look on those kids' faces that have been through boot camp. They actually get a break. They can go home and relax and just take a load off or whatever else.
And they're
That is-
different people from the day they left.
Yes,
Absolutely.
totally. Totally.
Yeah.
It is so bad I worked the event one year, and we have several officers that worked for TSA from management level down that was in the military, prior military. I have one of my coworkers, one of the supervisors, actually walked up to me one year I was working the event, and he looked at me. He said, "You missed your calling." So what are you talking about, Christian? He said, "You should have been a drill sergeant." Because
Amen to that.
Personality.
I am the
yes.
only one with the loudest voice on that checkpoint that can say, and I stand in one place and talk to all the soldiers that in line at that time, because they bring them in by the busloads.
Right.
There are probably, they start at, when I get there at 2 a.m. or 2:30, they are already there on the bus. And when they come in the airport, they go to a table, they get their names checked off, whatever else, they come upstairs to the checkpoint. I can stand in front of the checkpoint and talk to those in line and get their attention. Their drill sergeants are either standing in front of them or they're standing behind me, to the side of me,
Right.
and they let me talk. And I'll greet them, and I tell them what we need them to do, and I go, "Merry Christmas" or "Happy Holidays, soldier." And at one time, in unison, they will answer me, and all my coworkers will go, "You make me sick."
Well,
I was
that,
laughing when you say the drill sergeant let you. No,
Yeah.
he didn't let you. He didn't have a choice.
Right. But it's amazing
right.
to see that many soldiers at one time in one place. And that's the one time they bring out the inflatable Santa Claus. When I see that inflatable Santa Claus that's dressed in that camouflage,
That's cool.
my day is set.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's a good one to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CigarsForWarriors.org. Go there today. Support them. Let's support our troops. We appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Every day. It is not a thankless job. It is not. You are appreciated more than you know. It might be 5,000 miles away,
Yes.
but you are appreciated. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. T, what's the best cigar you have?
The one I'm having right now with my family and friends.
There you go. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Have a happy Veterans Day. Thank you for all who served us.